Years have passed, and I still regret not having the chance to learn these life realizations earlier. But even with that, the more I listen to them, the better my life becomes. And yours can too. Just listen carefully. Every time you are rejected from something good, you are redirected to something better. Realize you cannot control everything or everyone, but you can control yourself, and that's even better. Just because things could have been different doesn't mean they'd be better. When writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Remember, some of the best times of your life haven't even happened yet. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet. Know your worth. Never put yourself in the bargain bin, or that's where others will value you. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Sometimes, when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually, you've been planted. Once you realize your value, you will be greatly surprised at what you used to settle for. The best thing I ever did was stop telling people what's going on in my life. Before you talk, listen. Before you react, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you quit, try. Many people don't like you, especially if they see you as a competition. Always listen to your gut. Somehow it knows many things that you wouldn't expect. Rule your life with your mind, not with your feelings. Every bad decision we have made in life, there was more emotion in it than there was mind. Every single one. Overtrusting, betrayal, masturbation, loss of energy, stress, hair loss, overthinking, depression, saying no, important, revenge, ruining your own life, observing, increase in wisdom, forgiving, healing, letting go, peace of mind. You cannot convince people to love you. No one will ever give you love because you want him or her to give it. Real love moves freely in both directions. Don't waste your time on anything else. Spend your money on the things money can buy. Spend your time on the things money can't buy. Life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. Time truly flies. Be grateful always because it can always be worse. Live like there's no tomorrow and do what you love. The money will flow. Chasing the opposite sex and having temporary relationships, which means nothing but sex, is pointless. Know your worth. Never put yourself in the bargain bin, that's where others will value you. If it can be fixed, why are you complaining? If it can't be fixed, why are you complaining? If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. A private life is a happy life. Sometimes it feels better not to talk at all about anything. Don't say yes to everyone to make them comfortable. Check with yourself too before you commit. Every person has three faces. Firstly, the one we show to the world and strangers. Secondly, the one we show to family, spouses, and close friends. And thirdly, the one we show only to ourselves. There is a healthy amount of distrust to have in everyone. Nobody's intentions are truly clear, even after being stated. You aren't crazy. You're intelligent. Life is not a matter of holding good cards, but of playing a poor hand well. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and its life will not get any shorter. Happiness doesn't diminish when you share it. At first, you choose a partner based on appearance and enjoy it until you realize that your children will be raised not based on appearance, but based on values. If you expect the world to be fair with you because you are fair, you're fooling yourself. That's like expecting the lion not to eat you because you didn't eat him. Learn how to say fuck it and mean it. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. You can always earn money. It's not a big deal. Your world is not going to end because you don't have a fixed income. Something else will work out. Your friends want you to do good, but not better than them. Rest don't care. The average of 5 is real. If you really want to know someone, look at the 5 people they talk to the most and spend the most time with. If you're trying to break a habit, don't say, "This is the last time I'm doing it," to yourself. Instead, say, "This is the first time I'm not doing it." Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Never compare your life with others. They may seem better than you, but they have some problems which are never ever heard by you. If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life you don't want. Keep to yourself. Stay away from idiots. Stupidity is contagious. Not everything in this world should be your problem. Some things are simply none of your business. Focus on the issues that affect you directly. You will be much happier that way. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. Life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forwards. Don't ignore a problem you see coming from a mile away. That foresight is a gift. Don't squander it. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. Decision-making, like coffee, needs a cooling process. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. With every failure comes the experience needed to do better. Pay close attention to those who say they love you, because so often they don't. They only use you. Trust in yourself and your first instinct on decisions. You spend all your health initially for wealth, and then you spend all your wealth for one day of good health. The people who say you can't and you won't are usually the ones scared that you will. Be careful who you call your friends. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You don't have to feel good about it. You just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. Lower your expectations. Having high expectations of yourself and of others is a recipe for chronic dissatisfaction in life. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your social circle, the fewer problems you have. Today is the oldest you've ever been in your life, and the youngest you'll ever be again. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Success is 5% brains and 95% consistency. Learn to be sufficient and realize you are a mortal who will suffer horribly later if you don't become independent and resourceful. If you are a so-called nice guy, you will be screwed up in the worst possible way you can ever think of. Most people stay in the same place for a reason. The things they hold dear are the anchors that hold them in place. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. People are great at keeping secrets they don't know. Every person in your life is a teacher. Some bring lessons about love and support. Others teach you what to avoid. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some will even go out of their way to see you fail. If people took back the pain they caused you, you'd lose the strength you gained. Don't be afraid of a shadow. It just means there's a light nearby. If you want to get rich, think of saving as earning. Stop worrying about what other people think. Honestly, who gives a shit? When you laugh, people laugh with you. And when you cry alone. When you try to please everybody, you almost always please nobody. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not weakness. That is life. Don't tell anyone what you think or what you know. Keep your secrets to yourself. Because a friend of today could be an enemy by tomorrow. A busy man is seldom visited by idle friends. No flies fly to a boiling pot. Don't get bogged down in regrets. No one is perfect. Don't chase happiness, just stay positive, and you will experience joy. Stop trying to make everyone love you. You need enemies to succeed. If you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? Everyone falls down. Getting back up is how you learn how to walk. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. Focus on you. People come and go. No amount of success can compensate for failure at home. Just because you hate this chapter doesn't mean you'll hate the book. The more thankful you are, the more you attract things to be thankful for. Sometimes, the things that break your heart end up fixing your vision. The person who cares less has the most power in a relationship. The trouble is, you think you have time. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of connection. Seek meaningful interactions, not just company. Be silent, or let thy words be worth more than silence. Just because a thought got your attention doesn't mean it deserves your attention. Stop telling people everything. Most people don't care, and some secretly want you to fail. If something bothers you, change it. If it is beyond your control, learn to live with it. Accept it. Change yourself. That is the only thing you can influence. Everyone is on their own journey. Focus on yours. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising the bar. There are two wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is evil. The second one is good. Which wolf will win? The one you feed. Loneliness is the price you pay when you start to improve yourself. Embrace judgment. No matter your outcome, you'll always be judged. So don't live to impress others. Live to impress yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on your path, not someone else's. Never be so kind you forgot to be clever, and never be so clever you forgot to be kind. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Wasting time in regretting, cribbing, and crying won't fetch you results. Life's challenges are not there to paralyze you, but to help you discover who you are. Never sacrifice your progress for a friend. They might not do the same if the tables were turned. Don't compare your life to others. You have no idea what their journey is all about. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. The more you like yourself, the less you'll need others. To have what you never had, you have to do what you never did. Stay away from people who make you feel lonely. No company is better than a bad company. Write your sad times in the sand. Write your good times in stone. Be kind, but don't let people use you. The world doesn't care about your potential. It cares about what you've done. You aren't always responsible for the first thought you have, but you are responsible for the second one. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Never underestimate the power of stupid people. You are right about all the things you think you need to do. Don't wait. Get started. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. Circumstances make man, not man's circumstances. Sometimes it's a blessing to not get what you want. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for something you are not. People will say almost anything when they're happy. Be wise and careful of this one. Dead people receive more flowers than the living ones because regret is stronger than gratitude. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Be proud. You survived the days you thought you couldn't. Worry is the ultimate bully. It takes everything and gives nothing. Let go or be dragged. Great results can be achieved with small forces. When thinking about life, remember this. No amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. No one is going to figure out your life. It's your responsibility. Rejection is important for self-development. Your mind gives up a lot faster than your body. Leave nothing for tomorrow, which can be done today. Not everyone will like you. That's life. You'll ruin your life trying to make everyone happy. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Love your neighbor as yourself. Don't go broke trying to impress broke people. When you get up in the morning, remember what you promised yourself at night. People don't think about you as much as you imagine they do. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. A ball doesn't bounce until it hits the bottom. Make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present. No one has the answer. You're going to spend a lot of time figuring things out. People don't get what they deserve. The world will not treat you better just because you're a good person. When nothing can go wrong, it will. A calm sea will not make you a skilled sailor. Don't make one person the center of all your happiness. Don't make them the reason why you are happy, because once that person walks away from your life, you're left with nothing. You deserve it. The career, the love, the family, the peace, the life. Don't depend too much on anyone in this world, because even your own shadow leaves you when you are in darkness. The ego is not a bad thing, and sometimes we need it in order to achieve our aims and feel vitality. However, the ego is just a tool. We shouldn't let it control us. Success is a loner's journey. You must learn to accept loss and make compromises. If you stopped seeing the world in terms of what you like and what you dislike, and saw things for what they truly are in themselves, you would find a great deal more peace in your life. Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past. There will always be someone who is better than you in something. You have to accept that fact and learn from them. That's something that will help you grow. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. You have 3 choices in life. You can watch things happen, make things happen, or wonder what the hell happened. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. No work is beneath you. The only thing that should be beneath you is your big ego. Work hard in silence and show your skills at the job you get rather than criticizing the job. No matter how many times I may stumble, I will rise each time a better man. The most important step a man can take is the next one. It's always the next one. You might be the sweetest peach on the tree, but some people just don't like peaches. There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. If you want to help yourself, genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. Nothing in life that is worth having comes easy. Passion is super awesome, but it doesn't cure all your problems. Passion can go a long way in your life, but it doesn't mean it's all unicorns and rainbows. No is one of the most powerful words in existence. Don't be a people pleaser. The only time you should look into someone else's bowl is to make sure they have enough. Be not afraid of moving slowly. Be only afraid of standing still. What God doesn't give to you, you have to go and get for yourself. Experience is not what happens to a man. It is what a man does with what happens to him. No matter how nice or respectful you are, some people will still talk bad about you behind your back. Life is unfair. Don't moan. Don't complain. Learn to be thick-skinned. Make the most of what you can. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Experience, don't expect. Experience life. Do not carry expectations on how it should be. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you're working for someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. What people say when they are angry aren't things they mean. They regret it often. Forgive angry people. It's okay. They are only human. All that we are is the result of our thoughts. If you are unhappy, you are doing something wrong. He can do anything who thinks that he can do anything. Take time to enjoy life's simple pleasures. It's in these moments that we often find the most joy. Just because you know how it's done doesn't mean it's not magic. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. No matter what good you do to people, they will only remember your mistakes. You may not realize this, but the people you love are your biggest weaknesses. Well done is better than well said. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Great men are meteors designed to burn so that Earth may be lighted. Someone's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a man in the process of changing. Don't regret the past, 'cause at that moment you did your best. Holding grudges will never harm people you hate, only you. If you can't do it now, you won't do it ever. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. The things you own end up owning you. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. This too shall pass. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. As a child, I prayed to God for a bicycle. Then I realized that God works differently. I stole my bike and prayed for forgiveness. Do not envy other people's good qualities, but instill them in yourself through admiration. Most of the stuff you worry about never happens. Don't chase women. Instead, focus on your growth, values, and cultivating kindness. The right person will find their way to you at the perfect moment, without the need for chasing. You grow mentally weak when your life is too comfortable. We have 4 problems: overthink, overtrust, overshare, overlove. Listen more than you speak, for wisdom often comes from silence. When fate hands you lemons, make lemonade. The world is boring for boring people. Never was anything great achieved without danger. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. There are times when you see someone for the last time and don't even realize it. Watch out. You'll never know the true value of the moment until it becomes a memory. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Every person alive hits a crossroads in life when you have to let go of the past and forge ahead into something new. The only sad thing would be clinging to the past once it's out of reach. Fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. Problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on a friendship. When we give someone our time, we actually give a portion of our life that we will never take back. It is unrealistic to expect people to see you as you see yourself. You attract what you are. You want to attract better? Become better. Spend time with the elderly. Their wisdom and experiences are invaluable. Small circle, private life, and peaceful mind. Never bend your head. Always hold it high. Look the world straight in the eye. Never be afraid to treat people the way they treat you. When they give you lined paper, write the other way. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Life gives you lemons, pepper, salt, and sometimes cold water, but they don't come together or in a certain order. So, keep struggling until the lemonade is ready. You can either be a negative or positive person in life, but only one will get you somewhere. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost. Nature hath given men one tongue but two ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak. Take a deep breath. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Things that will count: you, your health, and your achievements. The first step to getting anywhere is deciding you're not willing to stay where you are. The true test of a man's character is what he does when no one is watching. One day, or day one, you decide. Much is expected from that to whom much is given. Don't say someday. Say now, for someday may never come. You will be disappointed and heartbroken multiple times, but it's how you respond that matters. Donate to charity. Small acts change lives. Life is a boxing game. Defeat is not declared when you fall down. It is declared when you refuse to get up. Use things, not people. Love people, not things. Time is your most valuable resource. There are no refunds or second chances for the time you waste. Be impatient with actions, but patient with results. Don't be emotionally attached to anyone. People change. Even your best friends may probably turn into strangers one day. They've promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too. Every journey begins with the first step. In order to empathize with someone's experience, you must be willing to believe them as they see it, and not how you imagine their experience to be. Do not look back when leaving. There are 1,000 lessons in defeat, but only one in victory. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. You make the best decisions when in pain, because fear of experiencing the same pain again is the strongest motivator. Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want. You've got to do what's right for you, even if it hurts some people you love. When anger rises, think of the consequences. The fact that people do not learn from the mistakes of history is the most important lesson of history. No wise man ever wished to be younger. Since we're all going to die, it's obvious that when and how don't matter. Learn to cook a few basic dishes. It's a valuable life skill. Any thought you have about the future is a delusion. You're going to make a lot of people mad doing what's right for you. You can't cross the ocean until you lose sight of the shore. It's easy to fool someone. It's hard to convince them that they've been fooled. At your life's darkest moments, you'll see the most clearly. Do not postpone joy for the sake of the future. The morrow is promised to no one. The hardest part is at the beginning of the journey. The rocket loses 90% of its fuel during takeoff. Breathe. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Things will get better. Just wait. People, in essence, do not grow up. They only get old. You can hide memories, but you can't erase the history that produced them. The way you treat others reflects who you are, not who they are. Not everyone will make it to your future. Some people are passing through to teach you life lessons. In the face of adversity, remember that diamonds are made under pressure. Embrace solitude as a time for reflection and self-discovery. Not everyone you trust will be trustworthy. Don't be afraid to express vulnerability. It shows strength. Learn to handle rejection gracefully. It's a part of life. Control your finances, or lack of them will control you. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. If a man is as wise as a serpent, he can afford to be as harmless as a dove. Rule your mind, or it will rule you. No matter how hard you work, you can't have everything you want. Eventually, most of us end up settling in some part of our life. Before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? You are not unique. There will always be someone else equally attractive, fun, and qualified to replace you. Time never waits. It only urges you to catch up or get left behind. A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves from 1,000 minutes of regret. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us. Never tolerate disrespect, not even from yourself. Create and stick to a personal budget. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but gets you nowhere. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. The best view comes after the hardest climb. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, "I will try again tomorrow." Your ambition is handicapped by laziness. Never lose your sense of humor. Laughter is the best medicine for the soul. You'll never find a rainbow if you're looking down. Always pay off your credit card debt. It'll save you trouble later. The best revenge is massive success. The more you give, the more you receive. The heart that shares is the heart that's full. If you can dream it, you can do it. Stop telling people more than they need to know. You meet every single person for a reason. Just let it be. If it's meant to be, it will happen. Your past was never a mistake if you learned from it. Receive without conceit. Release without struggle. The secret to being creative alone. Ideas are born in loneliness. Don't wait for the right opportunity. Create it. Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. Whether it's a machine, a house, or a relationship, maintenance is always cheaper than repairing. You may not lead a comfortable life with a single source of income. You need to build others. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. Whatever advice you give, be brief. A man only begins to be valued when he is no longer there. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Once you feel free, someone avoids you. Never disturb them again. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Gardens are not made by singing, "Oh, how beautiful," and sitting in the shade. Judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Always take responsibility for your actions, for it is the mark of a mature individual. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes mean you're trying. People willingly believe what they want to believe. 10 people who speak make more noise than 10,000 who are silent. The days that break you are the days that make you. Your respect at most places is directly proportional to your bank balance. It takes a long time to realize how truly miserable you are, and even longer to realize it doesn't have to be that way. Honesty without kindness is brutality. Kindness without honesty is manipulation. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, "I will try again tomorrow." Never wrestle with a pig. You both will get dirty, but the pig likes it. A denied expectation hurts more than a denied hope, while a fulfilled hope makes us happier than a fulfilled expectation. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. People often confuse stress with responsibility. That mountain you've been carrying, you were only supposed to climb. You cannot have a positive life and a negative mind. The most exquisite pleasure is giving pleasure to others. It's not about having what you want, but wanting what you have. Do not let the shadows of your past darken the doorstep of your future. Sometimes we create our own heartbreaks through expectation. Even the smallest lie can break the biggest trust. Be kind and generous without expecting anything in return. Make more moves and less announcements. We learn not in school, but in life. You can never be overdressed or overeducated. Smile. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. You can't always have a good day, But you can always face a bad day with a good attitude. Owning your truth can be hard, but not nearly as hard as spending your life running away from it. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. A donkey loaded with gold will open the gates of any fortress. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Celebrate small victories and milestones because they pave the way for bigger achievements. Trust yourself. You've survived a lot, and you'll survive whatever is coming. The point of the argument is not to defeat each other, but to understand each other. Fake love is mighty convincing in a world where real love is mighty rare. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. Perceive failure as a vulnerable teacher and a stepping stone to success. Embrace every opportunity, for regrets come from the chances we didn't take. No gains without pains. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living or get busy dying. Progress is impossible without change. Compromise is the best and cheapest lawyer. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Believe in yourself, and the rest will fall into place. Never fall in love with the same person twice, because the second time you fall in love with the memories, not the person. Some things are meant to cross your way, but are not meant to stay. Your direction is more important than your speed. Worrying only means you suffer twice. Be afraid, but do it anyway. Sometimes loneliness is the price you pay for growth. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take it and make it perfect. Never think twice about investments in yourself. They pay dividends for a long time. You will never remember the days and nights you stay home and do nothing. Sometimes which choice you make is not as important as making a choice and committing to it. Don't compare yourself to others because no one can play your role better than you. Whoever brings you the most peace should get the most time. Patience is power. You are who you are. Nobody's approval is needed. The harder your past was, the more beautiful your future will be. If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. No relationship is worth damaging your mental health. Depend on yourself, never on others. Being too nice breaks you. Expect nothing, and you will never get disappointed. Just be real. It saves everyone's time. Putting off until tomorrow is your weakness. One day or day one, you decide. We are our choices. The past is just a story we tell ourselves. A salary is the drug they give you to forget your dreams. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It never gets easy, but it gets easier. If you need music on the beach, you're missing the point. We live longer when we are too busy living. The people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Keep breaking your heart until it opens. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. No expectations, no disappointments. One looking into a puddle sees dirt in it. The other, stars reflected in it. Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise. If each of us sweeps right under our feet, the whole world will be clean. An abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. The first man gets the oyster. The second man gets the shell. An explained joke is no longer a joke. Never put off till tomorrow the fun you can have today. The liar's punishment is not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. Marrying is not at all difficult. It is difficult to be married. Pay attention to the negative signs that people give off and immediately disconnect from them. It will save you a lot of pain and, more importantly, wasted time. The only person who's ever going to remember your hard work is you. Not this company, not your boss, only you. It's not worth killing yourself over a company that'll replace you in 2 days if you're gone. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness. Bad days give experience. Worst days give lessons. And best days give memories. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. No woman or man really knows what perfect love is until they have been married a quarter of a century. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. When talking to people, look them in the eye and on the face. This will make you more confident in front of others. Your self-respect has to be stronger than your feelings. Don't tell your friends that you're happy. Don't make them angry. Don't tell your enemies that you're unhappy. Don't make them happy. There never exists a relationship without self-interest. In short, every one of us, for sure, is selfish. Never expect too high. The more you expect when it doesn't meet your expectation, the more it's going to hurt. If you are a giver, remember to learn your limits because the takers don't have any. Your deepest, darkest moment may be the best thing that ever happens to you. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. The most important thing we learn at school is the fact that the most important things can't be learned at school. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. Don't ruin your health in order to earn money. You will end up spending your money to recover your health, and that is not reciprocal. Sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you. Leave the house messy and the yard unmowed for the weekend. You will remember the fun, not the clean house or yard. Make time for fun. You'll learn nothing from life if you think you're right all the time. Sometimes we're tested not to show our weaknesses, but to discover our strengths. People only want to hear the good, not the bad. So, if you have issues, it'll be hard to find people to confide in. Time passes slowly when you follow it. It senses being followed. You spend your first 20 years worrying what people think about you. You spend your next 20 years swearing that you don't care what people think about you. You spend the next 20 years realizing that they aren't thinking about you. Stop letting other people take advantage of you. Learn to say no and understand your rights. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. A happy marriage is a long conversation which always seems too short. Work on you for you. If you're not dating to marry, you're dating for heartbreak. Let that sink in and be in a serious relationship. The calmer you are, the clearer you think. Don't pretend to be better than you are. Live life at your own pace. Life is too short to waste time hating anyone. Envy is a waste of time. You already have all you need. Action is 10 times more valuable than reading and planning. Experience is the best teacher. You might regret your speech, but you'll never regret your silence. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. Do more. The race is won by the horse that outstrips its rivals by a head. Wisdom is not wisdom when it is derived from books alone. It is indeed very hard to move on, but once you do, you'll realize it was your best decision. Be the person you needed when you were younger. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Accept criticism, but never accept disrespect. You can't change the past, but can shape your future by learning from it. When you stop chasing the wrong things, the right ones catch up. Never awaken a woman's love with no intention of loving her. A lesson never ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Learn to say no. Be frugal. Eat only real food, no wheat, and limit carbs. If you don't clear your misunderstanding in time, they become the reason for distance forever. We are all the bad guy in someone's story. Never close your lips to those whom you have already opened your heart to. To be angry is to take revenge on oneself for the mistakes of others. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. Thinking that someone else can make you happy or unhappy is ridiculous. You can overcome bad habits only today, not tomorrow. To lead people, follow them. It is better to make approximately correct decision than to make a precise mistake. Respect yourself, because people can see if you don't. The more you know, the dumber you sound to stupid people. Don't let success go to your head. Don't let failure go to your heart. The best way to respect yourself is to discipline yourself. Don't waste your time with explanations. People only hear what they want to hear. To be the best, you must be able to handle the worst. As long as you are alive, no obstacle is permanent. Many of the people you told your secret to have already told it to others. The walls you build to keep things out are also keeping things in. Learn to let go, even if you are right. Never make a promise you can't keep. Do not fear getting hurt. You can't grow if you don't hurt. Experience is the teacher of all things. The shortest distance between 2 points is often unbearable. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. How much money does it take to make a man happy? Just one more dollar. Stay patient. The best things happen unexpectedly. Life is a one-time offer. Use it well. Be kind to people without allowing them to take advantage of your good nature. Efforts never go in vain. How others see you is not important. How you see yourself means everything. Never let others know your weaknesses. Instead, always try to show up your positives. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. It's better to be alone than in bad company. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. If you're not happy with yourself, you'll never be happy in a relationship. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Men are moved by two levers only: fear and self-interest. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Just trust your instincts. Gut feelings can sometimes save you from big troubles. Stupid is the man who always remains the same. Learn first, teach later. The heaviest burden we carry is the weight of our expectations. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. The best way to gain self-confidence is to do what you are afraid to do. No one in this world will stand up for you like the way your parents do. Always be there for them. Being lonely and being alone are different things. Most people are a complete waste of time. Don't let people know too much about you. You don't get extra marks for putting up with people you dislike. You don't have to be great to start, but to become great, you just have to start. The world belongs to the patient. Time flies. One day you are 30, the next you are 50. Plan now for what you want 50 to look like. Never compete with someone who has nothing to lose. Knowledge isn't power until it is applied. Ask no questions, and you'll be told no lies. He who is satisfied with his lot is rich. Do not shake the green apple tree. When the apple is ripe, it will fall down by itself. Be equally indifferent to blame and praise. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. He who builds on the people builds on the mud. Treat your parents as you would like your children to treat you. Work at your job and make a living. Work on yourself and make a fortune. Bad habits are like a comfortable bed, easy to get into, but hard to get out of. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who fight battles we know nothing about. A good laugh and a long sleep are the two best cures for anything. Take your financial life seriously. Money is a defense to a lot of challenges. Being alone gives us an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. Someone once told me the meaning of hell. On your last day on the earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. You train people how to treat you, unconsciously or not. Don't die until you're done. There's no point in being grown up if you can't act a little childish sometimes. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. The oldest, shortest words, yes and no, are those which require the most thought. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. To put everything in balance is good. To put everything in harmony is better. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Striving for success without hard work is like trying to harvest where you haven't planted. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for your peace of mind. Life is often very ambiguous. Sometimes there isn't a right or wrong decision or choice. Things are not always completely clear. You may not get the answer, so you just have to wing it. To realize that you are not your thoughts is when you begin to awaken spiritually. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. Never go to the past, not for happiness, not for justification, not for excuses. The world is what it is. You are what you are. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hope for. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. Don't look back. You are not going that way. Practice self-compassion. We are all human, and everyone makes mistakes. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Make and keep friends with the people you want to emulate, not the people that you think will be most likely to accept you. The people you associate with will shape your future. Start saving your money. Don't spend it on homes you can't afford, fancy cars, and running your credit cards to the max. In the end, you'll be much happier. There are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. It's no use wasting time worrying what other people think about you. No one is thinking about you. The world is a tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. There are only 3 events in a man's life: birth, life, and death. He is not conscious of being born. He dies in pain, and he forgets to live. Manage your mood, because if it does not obey, then it commands. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. True love never has a happy ending, because there is no ending to true love. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, but all are necessary for the full story. Take good care of your health. Without health, nothing will matter. No amount of money can bring you joy if you are suffering. Always move in your own direction, not according to society, friends, or family. What other people think of you is none of your business. It is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. Through discipline comes freedom. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. Never overlook contempt. When someone views you with contempt and talks to you like you're beneath them, they will likely do you harm. Whether relationally, socially, or physically, remove that person from your life. Life is far from over, but it's very short too. If you want to do something, don't delay. But don't sacrifice what you want for what you want right now. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will. The best thing I ever did was stop telling people what's going on in my life. Be proud of how hard you are trying. At your lowest, you realize a lot. No one is too busy. It's only a matter of priorities. Never force, don't beg, and don't chase. Learn how to change a flat tire on your vehicle. If you don't value your time, neither will others. The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. Don't put off important medical checkups. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet. If nobody helps you, do it alone. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. If you don't ask, you don't get. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Life isn't fair, but it's still good. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Never take the responsibility that does not belong to you. Have firm boundaries and be discerning about who you let into your life. Buy real estate, land, anything you can afford. The less possessions you own, the happier and less burden you will have in your life. Don't leave someone to teach them a lesson. Leave because you learned yours. When in doubt, just take the next small step. Be careful who you marry, and even more careful who you have kids with. Slow down and realize that mistakes are essential to learning anything. Get yourself together before you get any older. The older you are, the harder it is to change. No one cares except family. Nothing is actually as bad as it seems, or as great as you think it will be. It is good to be generous, benign, and magnanimous, but there's a limit, or you'll be taken for granted. Holding on to things will always make you more stressed. Things won't happen in a certain way just because you want them to happen that way. Learn from what people do, not from what they tell you. Don't react in anger immediately. Wait for it to subside. What's said or done in anger is irreversible. See people for who they are, not who you need them to be. Never jump to conclusions. Be discerning and let people show you their true colors. Never lend money because you might lend it to friends for a few days, but retrieve it from fools for years. Never share your problems with friends before finding a solution, no matter how challenging it is. Don't show your weaknesses. People will enjoy the show. Don't be weak in front of them. Listen to the people who tell you what you don't want to hear. Self-pity is dangerous. Stay away from it. Just because you are going through hell right now doesn't mean you will never smile again. Pain is purely temporary. The only constant in life is change. Embrace it, and you'll grow. Say please and thank you often. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. Quietly work. Let success speak up. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. The days are long, the years are short. Heard this after I had my first kid. Couldn't be more true. The reason you want to be better than someone else is the reason why you aren't. No one raindrop thinks it causes the flood. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Words can be like X-rays if you use them properly. They'll go through anything. You read, and you're pierced. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Socializing is just like any skill. You need to practice before you're good at it. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Just because you got away with a bad decision doesn't make it a good decision. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Life is like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. People don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. You are either part of the problem or part of the solution. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. In times of war, the law falls silent. Things are only impossible until they are not. No man becomes rich unless he enriches others. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. When in doubt, tell the truth. Graveyard is full of people who used to think that the world could not run without them. The moment poverty walks in through the door, love and peace toss themselves out of the window. A friend is a gift you give yourself. Things work out when you least expect them. Life has a funny way of surprising us when we're not looking for it. Anything you can settle with money is cheap. Men cheat because they don't feel needed. Women because they don't feel loved. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Don't make hopes. Hopes will create expectation, and expectation makes you weaker. No one cares except you. Do what lifts you up in your eyes. What people say does not matter. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. Be forgiving, be understanding, but do not be a fool. No regrets, just lessons. No worries, just acceptance. No expectations, just gratitude. Life is too short. The one charm of the past is that it is in the past. The lie flies, and the truth limps after it. Respect yourself, and others will respect you. Without courage, wisdom bears no fruit. We must bring our own light to the darkness. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. The best is always the enemy of the good. You can't litter negativity everywhere and wonder why you have a trashy life. Betrayal never comes from your enemies. Regretting won't change your past and it will end up your future if you continue to do that. Some people just won't admit they're wrong. Don't waste time trying to get them to accept it. Sometimes you just have to let stupid people be stupid. If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain how he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. Keep busy. It's the cheapest kind of medicine there is on this earth, and one of the best. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your circle, the less bullshit you have to deal with. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries, and you rejoice. A bad phase of your life can start at any time. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. The noblest work of God, man. Who found it out? Man. Save a little money every week or month. Nothing gives you happiness like a financial buffer, believe it or not. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, you could miss it. The thing you think about determines the quality of your mind. Do your best and trust the process. The harder you work, the luckier you will get. Your heart will tell you where to go. Your head will guide you there safely. Use one without the other, and you'll get lost. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. Often the lies that are believed become the truth. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Never give up on something you really want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. You can't do big things if you are distracted by small things. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Intuition is something that is ahead of accurate knowledge. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. Everything outside of this moment is just imagination. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Stay strong. Even when things begin to fall apart, stay strong. I would rather be a swineherd, understood by the swine, than a poet misunderstood by men. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. You'll never be sorry for telling someone you love them. Do it before it's too late. You can tell more about a person by what he says about others than you can by what others say about him. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. You will be pulled down out of jealousy. Don't get surprised. It's normal. Most of the time, you have to swallow the pain and learn to grow up by yourself. Trust wisely and not blindly. Here for a good time, not a long time. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Our thoughts make us what we are. Difficulty shows what men are. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. Never take anything personally. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. The more you are interested in others, the more interesting they find you. To be interesting, be interested. The only time you should ever look back is to see how far you've come. Embrace stress as the opposite of apathy. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A leader is a dealer in hope. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. Don't read a quote and say, "This is wise," but read a quote and say, "How can I relate this to my life?" Better 50% now than 100% never. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're being judged no matter what. So be who you want to be. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. And the same is true of fame. What Paul says about Peter tells us more about Paul than about Peter. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just gotta find the ones worth suffering for. Be loyal or stay single. That's simple. Never say maybe if you want to say no. When you are angry, stay silent. You don't have to win every argument. Agree to disagree. At some point, you will realize no one else has a say in your life unless you let them. You are confined only by the walls you build yourself. Where your fear is, there is your task. If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. Children make so much noise, you can't think, but when they leave the house forever, the silence is maddening. Nonviolence is a weapon of the strong. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be two sides. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Live every day as your last, because one of these days it will be. Only those who can afford not to lie are free. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. The greatest risk is not taking one. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Give without expecting anything in return. You need to stop the habit of doubting yourself. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. A blind man is a poor guide until it gets dark. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. It's not your fault things are the way they are. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. Remember, 5 years ago, you dreamed about being where you are now. Think about it. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Life will only come around once, so do whatever makes you happy. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Hatred is a curse that does not affect the hated. It only poisons the hater. Release a grudge as if it was poison. Never tell your friends your plans. Stop putting too much trust in them. Don't let anyone know what you're doing until it's done. Time always exposes what you truly mean to someone. Be correct with everyone, sociable with many, close to the elect, friend to the few. It is nothing to die. It is frightful not to live. If a woman is angry, it means she is not only wrong, but also she knows it. If someone is trying to bring you down, they are already below you. Time always exposes what you truly mean to someone. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. Not everybody wants to be your friend, and that's okay. You really don't want everybody as a friend anyway. What we do now echoes in eternity. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. If you can survive your own thoughts, you can survive anything. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Procrastination is the thief of time. Collar it. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. Who dares nothing needs hope for nothing. Learn to heal without venting to everyone. Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo. Be careful who you trust. Salt and sugar look the same. Money is a tool, not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Stay calm. You've been through this before. You'll get through it again. Learn to say no without explaining yourself. Believe nothing you hear, and only one half that you see. The saints are the sinners who keep on trying. Above all things, respect yourself. Do what no one else can do, and you will become what no one else can become. Value experience over possessions, because memories are the real treasures of life. Give back, even if it's donating your tag sale leftovers or handing a dollar bill over to someone less fortunate. Do it. It'll make you feel good. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. Love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. Do yourself a favor. Get rich. Life gets easier with money, not time. If they don't appreciate you, they don't deserve you. To avoid disappointment, Expect nothing from nobody. Avoid gossip at all costs. It's poison to your mind. The root of all suffering is attachment. Stress is temporary, but the lessons you learn from it can last a lifetime. Money isn't everything in life, but it can help you solve a lot of problems. The future comes slowly, the present flies, and the past stands still forever. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. The greatest victory is victory over yourself. If you are not falling down occasionally, you are just coasting. Forget what hurts you, but never forget what it taught you. The only way to live like a king is to work like a slave. Everyone, at some time or another, sits down to a banquet of consequences. You came into this huge world alone, and will go out of it alone. Hence, can make any impossible thing possible by yourself only. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past. Wisdom is of the future. Give a man power, and you will find out who he is. You are responsible for your own happiness. If you expect others to make you happy, you will always be disappointed. You don't always have to be going, being, and doing. It's really okay to just chill. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people from their experiences. Stupid people already have all the answers. Above all things, never be afraid. The enemy who forces you to retreat is himself afraid of you at that very moment. Accept what is. Let go of what was. Have faith in what will be. Remember, some things have to end for better things to begin. If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Have at least one person in your life who gives you honest opinions. Be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. Whoever violated trust once loses it forever. Everything happens for a reason. Always. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Success is stumbling from failure to failure, with no loss of enthusiasm. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. A negative mind will never give you a positive life. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man, gathering it little by little, fills himself with good. Everything you need will come to you at the perfect time. If you want to be trusted, be honest. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A goal without a plan is just a wish. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. He who walks straight rarely falls. Life will separate you from your friends, so appreciate each moment you have together. Women make even the men more sophisticated. Do not chase after happiness. It is always in you. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. Good things do come to those who wait and suffer. It might take time and be a long and rough road, but it's completely and totally worth it. You will look back at your life with much more regret for the things that you didn't do than for the things that you did. A profession should initially be an act of love and not a marriage of convenience. Better days are coming. You won't always wake up in the morning with a heavy heart. Worry doesn't take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes away today's peace. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. Don't react. Cut them off silently. Genius is a mind that knows its limits. Your strongest muscle and worst enemy is your mind. Train it well. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Anyone you love can die. Anytime. Cherish them. Time is money. Trust is easy to build, but can be shattered in seconds. Fortune accompanies the brave. The more you spend clinging to the past, the less likely your future will be any brighter. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. If you can make a girl laugh, you can make her do anything. Your direction is more important than your speed. If you waste money, you can earn it again. If you miss the moment, it can never be returned. Live life with opened eyes, ears, and heart. Never ruin an apology with an excuse. It always seems impossible until it's done. Don't ever let the same people disappoint you twice. There is no better way to save yourself than saving money every day. Compound interest can do wonders. Keep your mouth shut whenever you are happy. Keep your mouth shut whenever you are sad. Things don't make us happy. Experiences do. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. There is truth in wine and children. People want you to succeed, but not more than themselves. Hard times will always reveal true friends. Stop comparing yourself with those who started 10 years before you. Focus on your own journey. Simplicity is the result of maturity. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Learning to let go should be learned from learning to get. It does not require many words to speak the truth. Choose your friends wisely. The fastest way to become better is to surround yourself with better people. Don't be afraid to make a hard choice. The hard choices are the best you end up making. Nothing is ever as easy as it seems. A person who doesn't make mistakes doesn't make anything at all. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. The hard work of the future will be pushing buttons. Nothing makes a man so adventurous as an empty pocket. The future depends on what you do today. The time for action is now. It's never too late to do something. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Someone else's progress doesn't make yours any less. Even the nicest people have their limits. If you punish the truth, expect to be lied to. Only he who controls himself is free. If you cannot have a faithful friend, be your own friend. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Other people's stupidity never makes us smart. Seek respect, not attention. It lasts longer. So many people love you. Don't focus on the people who don't. Your vision will be blurry, but it will grow clear with time. Patience is your ally. Never forget who helped you in a difficult time. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the airplane, the pessimist, the parachute. Laws are like cobwebs, which may catch small flies, but let wasps and hornets break through. He travels the fastest who travels alone. Genius lies in the ability to distinguish the difficult from the impossible. The truth is putting its shoes on. Last but not least, you are here for a reason that you may not know. But be patient. You beat 1 billion odds by being here. Be grateful for the little things in life that others take for granted. There will always be someone who doesn't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Life did not intend to make us perfect. Whoever is perfect belongs in a museum. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. No regrets. Just do better next time. Before you are old, attend as many funerals as you can bear and listen. Nobody talks about the departed's achievements. The only thing people will remember is what kind of person you were while you were achieving. Just because you miss someone doesn't mean you need them back in your life. Missing is a part of getting over. Ignorance is the root and stem of every evil. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Take care of your body. Remember, health is another form of wealth. You cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails to reach your destination. Don't regret having a good heart. All good things come back and multiply. If you don't let go of the wrong people, you'll never meet the right people. Don't feel guilty for doing what's best for you. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Don't trust words, trust actions. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. There is nothing more unbearable than idleness. God knows when to send you exactly what you need. Don't make a permanent decision based on temporary emotions. First, it hurts. Then it makes you stronger. No matter how hard the past, you can always begin again. Forgive your old self. You've changed. Don't judge your greatness by your shadow at sunset. A friend to all is a friend to none. A woman's guess is much more accurate than a man's certainty. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Understanding a question is half an answer. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. Sometimes you have to go through the worst to get the best. Be alone until you're valued. Don't overshare. Privacy is power. Be yourself. People don't have to like you, and you don't have to care. To be able to forget means sanity. Free yourself from society's advice. Most of them have no idea of what they're doing. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. Everything that happens before death is what counts. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. The secret to success is to do the common things uncommonly well. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. The family you create is more important than the family you come from. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. Trying to forget someone means remembering him all the time. Strong people are always simple.